India-China Thaw or tactical pause. Breaking down the latest signals. For years, India and China have been locked in a frosty standoff, marked by deadly clashes, frozen travel links, and hardening positions along contested borders. Now, subtle but significant signals suggest that the ground may be shifting. In recent weeks, a flurry of developments has hinted at a possible thaw, stirring questions about whether the two Asian giants are recalibrating their relationship. The change comes after a prolonged period of mistrust that began well before the Galwan Valley clash of 2020 but deepened in its aftermath. Today, amid a turbulent global landscape and shifting power equations, both sides appear to be testing the waters for renewed engagement. What is driving this moment, and how far might it go? The answers lie in a mix of diplomacy, trade, and geopolitics, and in the challenges that still stand in the way. New Delhi and Beijing are preparing to restart direct passenger flights as early as September. The Indian government has asked carriers such as Air India and Indigo to be ready to operate to China at short notice. Goods to 50% over Russian oil purchases, while extending a tariff truce with Beijing for 90 days to stave off triple-digit duties on Chinese imports. When the India tariffs were announced, the Chinese embassy in Delhi voiced support for India's sovereignty, calling it non-negotiable, and posted an illustration of an elephant, representing India, facing a baseball bat labeled U.S. tariffs. India's sovereignty is non-negotiable and its foreign policy choices cannot be manipulated by other countries, no matter how significant their own ties with India are. Quoted from the _Hindu https://wt6blpxmpic.twitter.com 8ydizzymu Jing China Spox _India August 6, 2025. Foreign Policy has reported that Washington may be moving closer to both Beijing and Islamabad in a bid to pull Pakistan away from China. New Delhi's outreach to Beijing has been viewed by some analysts as a way to mitigate any fallout from a US-Pakistan reset. In Beijing, there is suspicion that U.S. overtures to Pakistan might aim to disrupt the China-Pakistan economic corridor or gather intelligence on Chinese weapons used by Pakistan. As Bisbajithar of the Council for Social Development told the South China Morning Post, "I think Trump has pushed India and China closer together," noting that U.S. protectionism is a shared concern for both capitals. Even as diplomatic and trade links show signs of revival, several core disputes continue to weigh on India-China relations. The LAC dispute remains unresolved. China's long-standing defense and strategic partnership with Pakistan also remains a major concern for India. The two describe their ties as an all-weather strategic cooperative partnership, which extends to military technology and nuclear cooperation. This was evident during Operation Sindoor, when Pakistan deployed Chinese-origin fighter jets, PL-15 air-to-air missiles, and unmanned aerial vehicles. Infrastructure projects in contested or sensitive regions add to the mistrust. Beijing's construction of a mega dam on the Yarlung Tsongpa, which becomes the Brahmaputra once it enters India, has heightened water security concerns. In parallel, China is expected to begin work this year on a railway line linking Hotan in Xinjiang to Shigatse in Tibet. The planned route is likely to pass through Aksai Chin, a territory claimed by India but controlled by China, and run close to the G219 highway near the LAC. Swipe left for next video. Even with the unresolved disputes, the incentives for cooperation are clear. As Dominic Rohner of the Geneva Graduate Institute told the South China Morning Post, there are clear incentives to increase bilateral ties, yielding both economic and political benefits. While it is difficult to forecast what will happen, it is in these countries' interest to foster ties, with flights, fuel and fertilizer trade, visas, and pilgrimages resuming, and a Modi-Xi meeting expected later this month. The next phase of engagement will be closely watched by both sides to assess whether cooperation expands beyond the